Hi, hello, good evening to each and every one of us, and happy Sunday. I hope you have a very wonderful day today because today is rest day, so Sunday is a rest day. So, for those graduating or for those who graduated this year, a victorious year to each and every one of you. You know, in my high school years, 75, 76, 77 is just a norm for me. I'm actually cum laude. Can you give a round of applause? Yes, I'm cum laude. Cum laude of cutting classes, unfortunately. I spend most of the time going to billiard center or in a cockfighting or sometimes in a wake, drinking coffee, eating, and playing cards, gambling because I used to gamble before. I'm a gambling addict, unfortunately. I am jack of all trades before and also until now. I graduated college but struggled to get a job after graduation. I graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. I failed many times in applying for a job. I went to Manila, I went to Tacloban City, and also here in Cebu. I got rejected so many times. I don't know why. Pangit ba ako? Kapalit-palit ba ako? Am I exchanging gift? Ba't sila ang pinili? Hindi ako. Char lang. But here's what I realized in life. They accept applicants or people who are very competent. People who are very good in what they're doing. Because me, I don't have competence before. Most of the time I fail in my application. Sometimes I have self-pity. And sometimes I fell into depression before because of so many setbacks, so many problems, financially, emotional, psychological. So many problems. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the major lessons that I learned from my failures in life. You know, a major failure may be one of the worst things that may happen in life. You experience negative emotions and a sense of worthlessness as a result. Because of this, most people will take whatever steps possible to avoid failing, even if it means never trying something new. Failure has a good aspect, despite the destructive emotion it carries. You can learn from failure. Failure can teach you lessons you otherwise wouldn't have known. In fact, some of the wealthiest people all over the world could only succeed because of the lessons they took away from their earlier failures. Nobody enjoys failing. In reality, most people would go away and in preventing failure. They consider the length they must go to as a reasonable price to pay to avoid having to experience failure. However, they're losing out on something immensely valuable. The lessons that failure teaches. Nobody likes to fail since it is an unpleasant experience. However, the reality is that failure is inevitable. You cannot entirely escape failure as long as you keep trying new things or keep working towards your goals. This is not to imply that failure doesn't have its benefits despite the anguish it causes. Failure can teach you important lessons if you pay attention. When you're in charge of a business failure, don't be hesitant because there are valuable lessons you could learn in your lifetime. So here are some of the lists that I learned from my failures in life. Number one, you learn from your mistakes. Very few success stories haven't left a path of error in their wake. At some point in their lives, almost everyone fails. Learning from your failure is the first step to overcoming challenges and achieving success. When failure happens, consider what went wrong Was it a direct outcome of what you did? Or was there a rule for an external force? When you're in charge of a business failure, don't be hesitant to take responsibility. Many times, the catastrophe could have been avoided if something had been done differently. Don't be scared to perform some introspection and consider your options carefully. Number 2, failure makes you humble. It seems I thought nothing can stop you when everything in your life is going well. Words cannot adequately describe the sensation of being on the top of the world. But when failure strikes, it hurts. There are times when the pain is so excruciating that you cannot fear you never succeed again. Maintaining humility lessens the dramatic sense of failures and loss. Never lose sight of your humanity while you're on high on accomplishment, and treat everyone with the same respect and humility you would want. Being humble allows you to be mentally ready for failure when it occurs. Number 3, you'll be able to impart your knowledge. That's very important. I discovered that they will lose their significance if I don't communicate the challenges I confront. Early in my career, I believe a leader had to have it all together. I thought that I had to be prepared for everything that might be thrown my way, including questions and problems, and maintain my composure no matter what. The lesson I took away from my failure was that by trying so hard to do perfectly, I intentionally created an unanswerable expectation of perfections in others. It took me switching career to a field I knew very nothing about for me to understand that sometimes it's better not to have the solution to an issue. I became more often an effective leader by saying, I don't know what we need to do about it, but I'm confident that we can figure it out. And then working side by side with my team to find solutions to complex problems. Number 3, it broadens my perspective. We frequently spend so much time pursuing the goals that we neglect other vital aspects of our lives. You could overwork yourself and ignore other essential aspects of your life, like your family or even your health, since you are so focused on expanding your business and achieving your goals. For instance, you might have chosen to operate a freelancing business to spend more time with your family and achieve a better work-life balance. But with time, you begin to discover that you're putting in more hours at freelancing business than your 9-to-5 job. You realize that your business is not profitable despite of your hard work and your effort. So you decide to close it. You reluctantly admit that your company has failed. Such a failure allows you to reflect on your life and reevaluate your priorities. This is when you realize that your primary motivation for starting the business, enjoying a better work-life balance, was obscure, but your excessive emphasis on growing the company. Number 4, it teaches us what works and what doesn't work. Failure can help us identify the areas in our goals or careers where we need to make changes to succeed. It can also demonstrate what is effective and what needs to be continued. For instance, if you try a particular business plan and it fails, you may learn that you need to try different strategies since the one you were using wasn't practical for some reason. Number 5, it allows us to seek inspiration as well as to inspire others. It's only reasonable someone to help in retracing our steps when things go wrong. This is when we look at others for inspiration to help us succeed. But it's also when we try to inspire others. They might draw inspiration from our refusal to give up, as well as learn from the mistakes we made. Number 6, it opens up possibilities. We might succeed in other things as a result of failing at something. It gives us chances to develop and learn. When one door closes, another one opens. It's an old proverb. Sometimes you don't know what directions you're headed until you fail and have to go in different direction. Number 7, it helps us redefine priorities and reinventing goals. Failure can also help us realize what's really important before something goes wrong. We may not know what we desire. The next stage is to step back and assess whether our goals still reflect on our true desire or whether they need to be revised. Future success may result from redefining new objectives and establishing priorities. Number 8, you start to view challenges differently. In our society, satisfaction must be immediate. We have immediate needs and want things. In that way, we resemble young children and babies. We are only born with an id, the fundamental and existential component of the mind that operates on the pleasure principle. Therefore, it is part of the psychology of our minds. But even as our adults, we still have a lot of id mind. My dear friends, after failing many times, I understand that remarkable things don't happen immediately. We are not allowed to eat cake and have it too. We must put in a lot of effort to achieve our dreams and reach our goals. I started to understand this more after failing so many times. Thank you, and I hope you like this wonderful video.